it. And today we are gonna make these super cute, look at these gemstone soaps. I love these. Look at that. These are my favorites. Hey guys, thanks for joining. I'm gonna give people a few minutes to get just to join us. So, while we're waiting, feel free to share what you've been making if you are quarantined. And again, if you are an essential worker, healthcare worker, grocery store worker, thank you. You are amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. We support you. So I have been experimenting for a few days with different varieties of these little gemstone soaps. And I really love these. This final version came out really good. I'm pretty happy with it. And here's a clear quartz variety. Yeah, candles, more candles. Yeah, I feel you there. Yeah, I've been trying to get through a case of 3-wick tumblers I have and finish making those guys, because I've had them sitting around for a while and I know my family members want some candles, so I'm gonna try to get to those soon. All right, so we have some people joining us. Welcome again. So we're making gemstone soaps today. Here you go, a little sample of these. So let me just really quick, I'm gonna run through the supplies that I am using. So I am using the Melt and Pour HCVS base, soap base. This is optional, but I'm also gonna be using a little bit of the triple butter base. So the HCVS, that stands for High Clarity Vanillin Stable. So that means that if you're using a fragrance that contains vanillin in the soap base, it is not going to have that color shift that you get with vanillin, as long as you're using up to 2% fragrance in the base. This is a great base for creative projects. All right, so, and again, if you're just joining, this is what I'm going to be showing you how to make. It is super, super easy. Kids could easily do this. If you have young kids, there is a little bit of cutting involved, so you might want to supervise or help them out with that, but it's super, super easy. Hey, thanks for joining if you're just coming. All right, so let's get started. I think I'm going to do some blue gemstone soaps. Here's the color that we'll eventually get. And so the other supplies you'll need, you will need a rectangle mold. So this is just our 6-bar rectangle silicone soap mold. And I'm also going to be using the round silicone mold, the 8-bar round mold. I really love that round mold. It's good for a lot of things. Okay, and you will also need a soap-safe fragrance of your choice. I'm going to be using Sea Minerals. This is one of our newer ones because, gemstones, minerals, get it? Yeah, I know. But it's actually a pretty good fragrance for these because it has that sort of like minerally, like earthy but fresh, like kind of rocky scent. So I think it kind of works. Even though if I was just being a little overly clever there, but I can't resist. And then I'm also going to be using, if I can prevent getting it all over my hand, the Robin Egg Blue Vibrant Liquid Soap Dye. And then this is optional, but you can also, I have some cosmetic grade glitter lying around that I'm going to also put in there as well. You could, you don't have to use it, but I just kind of like the extra sparkle. Micas are an option too. I don't like to use micas personally just because there's some issues with child labor involved with mining them. So it just makes me a little uncomfortable. They do have synthetic lab-grown micas available. I didn't have time to get any of those in, plus they're a little bit more expensive than the natural micas. But, it's up to you. Just do a little research about it. And, if you want to use them, that's your choice, And they certainly look really pretty. The micas are really gorgeous. So to get started, we're gonna start by using the rectangle mold first. And I'm gonna just cut up a little of my HCBS clear base. As you can see, I've already made a dent in it. I'm gonna have to order some more here pretty soon. Okay, and so I already have some prepared, but I'm just gonna show you guys the process so you can see. And I'm gonna move my camera so you can see the process of what I'm doing. Okay. All right, there, can you guys see pretty good? Okay, hey, and if you're just joining again, this is what we're making. I'm gonna make them in blue. So, I've got my scale on. Oh yeah, you're getting your starter kit today, awesome. Yeah, the starter kits are great. The soap kit is amazing to get started, and the candle one too. Okay, so I've got a sharp paring knife, and I'm just gonna cut some chunks of the base off. And so we are gonna do a full tutorial with like exact measurements and everything later once we're back in the office and we're able to do that. So I don't really have the exact measurements. I've been doing these in like 8-ounce quantities of base to make mine. I've been getting like, I think like 2 of these, maybe 3 with that. So I'm gonna weigh 8 ounces. Okay, well you guys can't see my scale, but it's over here and I'm weighing 8 ounces. Actually, I'll just do 5 for this one, because I don't want to waste all the space. I'm gonna have to place another order. I've been getting packages delivered like left and right, you guys. I need to give my delivery person some candles and soaps. Oh, nice, you love the mango coconut milk. Yes, I have been burning that one nonstop. I am obsessed with it. It's really nice. Okay, I'm a weirdo. I really love cutting the soap. It is a very satisfying texture. And I'm just cutting it so that it melts a little faster in the microwave. I mean, you don't have to cut it quite so small. Oh no, pomegranate. Yeah, so we are gonna have a revision of pomegranate soon at some point. It is coming, and I haven't smelled it in a while, but I do remember the revision is like I don't know, to me it was more of like a realistic pomegranate. It had more of the tartness and not quite as much of the like really sweet aspect. So it is coming. It'll be here soon. Okay, so I'm looking for 5 ounces, almost there. I'm also gonna need a math assistant here soon, because once again, I did not do my math ahead of time. Okay, almost, one more. Okay, that is almost 5. Oh, nice. Yeah, I love High Tide. It's gorgeous in candles. I haven't done a candle with sea minerals yet because I've just been using it in these soaps. But I love both of them. Okay. All right, so let me adjust my camera back. All right, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna pop this into my microwave. Okay, thank you. I like my highlight. I'm gonna pop this into the microwave to melt it. I'm gonna do a 30-second burst to start. And then I'm gonna take it out and give it a little stir, and then probably do it again for like 20 seconds. Oh yeah, so just a note about those revisions, guys. Yeah, we know it's disruptive sometimes to people, like that is not what we want. You know, we don't do it without a reason. It's just really important to us to make sure that our fragrances are the safest, cleanest, best performing fragrances they can possibly be. You know, we spend a lot of time like digging into the science. You know, we have a chemical engineer on our staff. And so we're always just trying to make sure these are the best possible ingredients. And we try to just give that balance between performance and safety. So it's just important to us. And, you know, we want you guys to be using the safest products as well for you and your customers too. Okay, so my microwave went off. So this is almost all the way melted. I'm gonna give it another little stir, and it does look like I got a little cat hair in here, but that is my life when you have a cat. Hopefully I can get that out later. Okay, so this is actually all the way melted. Sometimes with the clear base, oh no, there's a few chunks in there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the clear base is sometimes harder to spot those little chunks. So I'm just gonna do like another 10 seconds. Oh, and so speaking of fragrance, when you're looking, I don't know if you guys already know about the fragrance finder. So if you're gonna look for just soap safe fragrances, you can limit in the fragrance finder to search just those soap safe ones. So that way you don't have to like go and look at every fragrance individually to see if it's soap safe. Most of our fragrances are. We like whenever we release new ones, we try to make sure that they're good in candles and they're good in soap and body products. Oh man, since the live last week, you made 2 orders. Oh yay, awesome. That's great. Yeah, we've been having a lot of fun like experimenting with these projects. And this is my favorite. I mean, I'm a little biased, I guess. Okay, so we're melted in here. This is the picture that comes in the soap kit as well. So if you have a soap kit or you got one on the way, you can expect to see. Actually, this is in there too, I think. Will we ever sell wooden wicks? I mean, we'll never say never. It's just not in our plan right now. They're pretty inconsistent. We try to, we do like a lot. Some would say maybe like too much testing of all of our products, and they're just not very consistent for us. So, okay, so now I'm gonna add my Sea Minerals fragrance. And so, okay, all right, I'm gonna need someone to do some math for me. So as you can see here on the bottle, this is on every bottle, the approved for. So for soaps, this fragrance is approved for soaps at between 3 and 6%. So if someone wants to do 3% of 5 ounces for me, that would be amazing. And I don't have a prize I can give you, but you will be awesome. And I will think you're awesome. Because again, did not do the math. I always forget about that part. So I'm gonna use this blue dye that is getting all over my hand now. So these dyes are super, super concentrated. And so, oh wait, actually no dye yet, Cassie. So the thing with these guys, here, let me get an example here for you. So these are gonna be poured and layered. Okay, thank you so much, Heather, 0.15, you're the best. All right, so to get the right kind of little look of these things, the first layer you're gonna pour is gonna be a clear layer. And then we're gonna add a little dye to the base for the middle layer and then more dye for the bottom right there like that. So the first layer is not gonna be using any color. Here, maybe you can kind of see it like that, yeah. But I am going to add some of my cosmetic glitter because I have some and it's gonna be nice and sparkly. And this stuff, like, it does not take very much to get a really sparkly effect. And you can find just cosmetic glitter anywhere, really. So I'm just putting some in there. I just kind of eyeball it. I don't know if that's right, but it seems to work. And then I'm just gonna give that a little stir. And when you're stirring soap base, just be sure not to stir too fast and whip up a ton of bubbles. I mean, it doesn't really affect the performance of the soap, but it makes those like little bubble air pockets. You're gonna get some of those anyway, but if you stir really fast, you're gonna whip up a bunch of them. All right, I don't know if you guys can see how glittery it is, but it is very glittery, very sparkly. And I can't forget my fragrance. Okay, so adjust my camera again, you guys can see. So I'm putting this on the scale. Well, I need more counter space in my kitchen, you guys. Hey Heidi, yay. Some of my coworkers are here showing up. I miss you guys. Okay, so again, putting some sea minerals, and thank you, Heather. I'm putting 0.15 ounces into my base here, and I've got this handy dandy little dropper thing. This is really good, especially if you're using small amounts of fragrance. And so I just put my pitcher with the base on the scale, and I'm just gonna tear it out to measure my fragrance. But yeah, these droppers are the best, especially for really small quantities. Highly recommend using them. I stole a bunch from our lab before we had to start working from home. All right, 0.15. Oh no, you couldn't sign up for email alerts. If you were not able to do that, just let our customer service team know. You can chat with them on the website and they will hook you up. Okay, so I'm stirring the fragrance in. Yeah, I definitely got a little cat hair in here, but I mean, you guys, if you have pets, you know how that goes. The pet hair gets everywhere. Okay, so this is the first layer. So I've got our mold here. Let me see. Okay, this is the one you guys can see. All right, and so I did a little bit of experimentation with this. Let me show you guys. So this first clear layer, I found it's best to have this one be like the biggest layer. When I first tried it, I'd made like a smaller clear layer, but we're gonna end up carving these into those gemstone shapes. And you're gonna end up carving off more of the clear layer than you are of the others. So I was getting better results by just by having the larger clear layer. It just looked a little prettier. Oh, I did steal the pipette, I acquired them. Yeah, I guess it wasn't technically stealing. I did need them for this. And plus there's a ton down there. I mean, there's so many. Okay, before I let this soap harden too much and get distracted, I'm gonna pour a nice thick layer of the clear. And I let it get like, maybe like just above halfway. I don't know, you can kind of eyeball it. The good thing about these is it's kind of better if they're a little irregular. That makes them look a little bit more like actual gemstones. Okay. So, yeah, I really need a bigger kitchen. That's what I need. So these are gonna harden pretty quickly and they don't need to cool all the way. So I'm just gonna put it into the fridge for like a couple minutes But first, I'm gonna give a little spritz of alcohol. You know, spoiler alert, this is not actually isopropyl alcohol, it is vodka because I do not have any isopropyl and I cannot get it right now. The vodka isn't as good, but it kind of works, I guess. I don't know. Not ideal, but you know, I'm making it work. But you know, just an emergency supply. Okay, so I'm gonna put this into the fridge for a couple minutes. You just need the like top skin to be hardened, just a little bit. So yeah, I haven't had problems with it melting yet. So I'm putting this in the fridge, be right back. So as you can see, it firms up pretty quickly. Like the pitcher has already hardened a little bit. It's still warm, but I'm just gonna pop this back into the microwave for like 10 seconds just to get it looser. So typically when we're doing soap, a spritz of alcohol gets rid of all the little bubbles. And it also, when you're doing layers, it helps the layers stick together and not separate. So like this, so that, you know, when you're cutting this, the layers aren't just falling apart. It just helps it stick together. And again, I recommend using isopropyl if you have it. But again, the vodka does work in a pinch. It was cheap. It was not good vodka. I would not use good vodka for this. Okay, so for our second layer, we are gonna add some color. As you can see, I have already made a mess of this brand new dye that I got in. And I'm just gonna, these things are super, super concentrated. So I'm just gonna do 1 drop. If I can get a tiny drop, I'll do a tiny drop. Okay, yeah, there we go. And then that's gonna get a little stir. Oh no, paper towel stuck to my spatula. Goodbye, okay. This is my favorite thing, is to watch the color swirl into the base. I love that. It looks so pretty. Blue. So you don't need to stir it a ton, just wanna make sure it mixes together. And I love those sparkles. And it smells so good. I love the sea minerals for soap. I was going real hard on the fresh picked cucumber in my soaps, but now I think I'm like into the sea minerals even more than the fresh picked cucumber. It's a really nice soap fragrance. And don't forget, when you are making body products, make sure it is a skin safe fragrance. And make sure you check the usage recommendations, as well as look at the IFRA certificate that is included on the page for every single fragrance. So you can just get some more of that data. Okay, let me check on my first layer. Oh, and if you're just joining in, we are making Gemstone soaps. Look how cute. Here's a closer view of the smaller little minis. I almost like the smaller minis the best. These would be cute too if you just wanted to stop here and just use these as like little single use, or, well, maybe not like single use, but maybe like 3 or 5 use little soaps. Oh yeah, Ocean Rose is so nice in soap. It's great in candles too. People sleep on Ocean Rose. It's a really good fragrance. It's in the same family as Sea Salt and Orchid, but a little different. Okay, let's check on our first layer. Okay, so yeah, you can see that it's still a little warm, but you know, just touch it and see how it's doing. I can tell that it's still like not all the way firmed up, but this layer is firm enough. So, okay, another camera adjustment here. Oh no, and this is already firmed up too, so I'm gonna put this in the microwave just for like 5 seconds. It might be a little bit easier to do your soap base melting in a double boiler for this project, just because you gotta keep like making sure it's not getting too solid. But let's see if that did the trick. Okay, yeah, this one might need a little bit more in the microwave. Yeah, just a little bit. Thanks for joining us. If you're just tuning in, again, we are making these guys, Gemstone soaps. All right, this should be good. Yeah, perfect, okay. So I'm gonna let it cool for just a second, just so I'm not pouring like a super hot layer on top of the first layer. It's okay if it mixes in with the first clear layer a little bit. The effect is kind of cool. One thing I will note is you want to use the same color when you're doing these. If you don't want to do like blue and purple, for instance, or like blue and orange. You want to stick with the same color, because then the colors, like over time, they will kind of bleed into each other. And if it's not a good color combination, then you're not going to get a very pretty result. All right, let me just adjust so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm just pouring the second layer here on top of the first. Okay. All right. And so I'm gonna pop that back into the fridge again, just for a minute or two. It doesn't need very long. It sets up pretty quickly. And again, a spray of my, ideally isopropyl alcohol, but in my case, vodka. So again, this is gonna help get rid of any bubbles from pouring, but also help the layers stick together so they don't come apart when we're cutting them up. Okay, now let me get my other stuff here. And so just to keep things like kind of moving along, so what I would do for the next layer, the final layer, is I would add another drop of dye to get a darker blue, and then I would pour that on top and let it sit until it's cool. And this is the result you get. This super pretty little bar of soap. I mean, and this would be cool to use just on its own, but we're gonna take it a little step further. So, adjusting. Okay. I always like doing the lives because it gives me like a reason to, look presentable. Put on like somewhat real clothes. Although I am wearing just like athletic wear today. I've been like living in sweatpants and big fluffy socks myself. Okay. And I shouldn't even have adjusted the camera because I'm gonna have to adjust it again so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, bear with me here. All right, so this is the finished result that you get right here like this. And what we're gonna do is just cut it into these little strips, I guess. This is the fun part. So when you're cutting them, try to do it in like varied thicknesses. So I'll do some thinner, some thicker. And if you're a weirdo like me who really enjoys like, all those soap cutting videos and stuff like that, you're gonna like this part. It's pretty fun. So this one I'll do a little thinner. And then, okay, I'll do like one thicker one. Okay. Yeah, it's really good to get just a nice variety of sizes here. All right, so and then we have these cool little layers. This knife, it's just, I don't know, it says color splash on it. I don't know, it's like my old, it's just a paring knife, just like a sharp paring knife. You know, so this is the part where if you are like doing this project with kids, you know, you definitely want to supervise them, just, you know, so they don't cut themselves. Okay. So, and then, you know, if you're also like a weirdo like me, you can do the soap curls where you like do like this. I don't know. I really like all those soap cutting videos. It's just very satisfying. I don't know. I just like that. That's not the point of this project, but just thought I'd throw it out there. Okay, so then we're gonna cut these guys just into little squares. And again, you know, just kind of make some smaller and some bigger. Just vary them a little bit. Okay, I'll make sure you can see. This is the part I really like doing. Look at that color. Love that. Okay, and then so once you have your little cubes here, so this is when you just kind of gotta kind of eyeball it. So here, all right. So you'll just start like shaving little pieces to make them look like the rough cut gemstones, like that. And just kind of, you know, they don't need to be perfect. It's kind of better if they're not perfect. But you guys can also kind of see what I mean about how you end up taking more off of the clear layer. This is the very satisfying part of this too. I love cutting the soap. There's just something about it that's really soothing. I don't know. So then, yeah, and, you know, just turn it around, like give it a little, just kind of what looks pretty to you, you know. Yeah. I don't know, I don't know if you guys can see very well. It's kind of okay. Yeah, it's kind of hard. My kitchen is really small. Not a ton of counter space here to work with, but it smells so good. Yeah, exactly like pouring wax. It's very soothing. Is it safe to put dried flowers in candles? Sorry, no, it's not. Not a good idea. Lots of people do it. You know, if that's something you want to try, you know, try it for, you know, give it a test. But, you know, anytime you're adding something to your candle that is not like fragrance, wax, wick, dye, you do, you know, risk having a dangerous candle just because it's not intended to be in a candle. You know, we have done some testing, like trials to see how like flowers and other botanicals do. And we just saw a lot of really unpredictable things. We just like couldn't have a predictable result with those things. And unpredictable is not an adjective you want to use to describe a candle. You want to know how it's going to burn. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, if you want to try it just for yourself, like just make sure you are doing extensive testing. You know, we don't want to like hamper anyone's creativity because, you know, that's just kind of what, you know, you like to try things. If you like to make stuff, you like to try stuff. So, you know, you can try it out, but it's not something we would recommend. Yeah, that's a good option. Pressed flowers around pillars are safer. You can also make like flower embeds, like make like get like a little mold you can make wax melts in, and then just do some cute little flower embeds and put those in your candles. That would be really cute. So yeah, you're just gonna you're gonna repeat this a bunch of times, until, you know, and just like look at them until you get a nice like little shape that you like. I spent way too long doing these earlier, but I just really like them. Okay. So I won't bore you guys with like cutting a million of these. I mean, unless you're into it, I don't know. So then the next step, you know, you totally can leave them just like this and just have cute little mini soaps. And actually I was thinking this would be a cute little, like if I made some small ones that were even smaller than this, like some cute single use soaps that are great for handing out to like, you know, your neighbors, but also they'd be good like little care packages for healthcare workers, just to have those single use soaps so they can just wash their hands really quickly. And you know, when they're in fun shapes, it just makes it a little more fun to wash your hands. I don't know. Okay, so the last thing we're gonna do to make the cluster like this is we will take our circle mold. Oh, I've got to melt some more of the base too. Okay. So I have a little bit left in here. I'm gonna just remelt it in the microwave, and actually I'm gonna add a little bit more dye too, because I only had 1 drop of dye in here. Well, I'll melt it first. Okay, just like 15 seconds in the microwave just to get it liquid again. Yeah, see, there's lots of cool things you can do that are alternatives to putting botanicals in candles that still look really pretty and give you a similar effect, but it's just a little bit more predictable. And you know, so you know, it just depends. You know, you may not want to risk all that. So, okay. Okay, so the remainder of my base is melted. Almost. A little bit is not. Okay, there we go. And you do not need much at all, but you do want this to be the darker layer. So I'm gonna add a little bit more dye, just 1 drop. Again, these dyes are so concentrated. And if you're just joining us, we are making gemstone soaps. Pretty. Okay. So I'm gonna give this another stir to incorporate the rest of the dye. My fragrance is already in there, Sea Minerals. And I'm gonna have some left over too, probably. Yeah, that noise was my microwave beeping. Yes, it was. All right. So, all right, I'm gonna adjust my camera again, so you guys can see, because this part is definitely, you gotta see what I'm doing here. All right, so again, this is our 8 circle mold. I love these molds. Yep, and that is a cat hair. I don't know if you can see it, but there's at least 1 in there. Yeah, it's just the microwave noise. Okay. Yes. Oh, I need to cut more of these blue guys. Darn it. You guys get me distracted with all these good questions. Ooh, could you describe the scent for me? Yes, I can. So, Sea Minerals. It's a very, I don't know, this one is one to me that feels very like a high-end spa type scent. So when we were first testing this scent, the original one was called, what was it? Before the Rain or something like that. I don't know. The concept was like a, you know, the way it smells when, like just before it rains. And there's that sort of like earthy but fresh, like mineral-y scent in the air that's really nice. So I think it really has that quality. It's a little salty. It's a little ozonic. I don't know. It's just really, it's clean, you know, like a clean spa scent. And if you're just tuning in, this is what we're making. We're making gemstone soaps. Oh, I should have waited to melt this. Typical me. I've got a good seashore scent. Oh, if you want a good seashore scent, High Tide is an awesome choice. Check out High Tide or Ocean Breeze is another great one. Sea Mist. We have some really great ocean scents. Those are probably my favorite. I just really like those salty, beachy scents. And so you want to just like carve enough of these to fill the circle like this. This is my favorite part of the project. You know, again, if you're doing this with kids, supervise them while they're doing this part, or help them with it. You know, I just have cats, so I don't know like what is appropriate and not for children. Yeah, Black Sea is a great one. Black Sea is so strong. I love that one, but I cannot really burn it in my house anymore because I was going really hard on the Black Sea for a long time. And it's just so strong to me. It like blows me out of the house when I burn it. I love it though. It's good and it's nice in soap too. Yeah, none of the ocean scents I mentioned are really powdery at all. This one's a little big. I need some smaller gemstones in here. I know I should have prepped a little bit more of these. I thought I was doing so good, like prepping all my supplies beforehand, but you know, typical. Yay! I just love these. They're so fun. Okay, here's a smaller one. Yeah, definitely like make sure you're cutting like a variety of sizes, and don't worry about making them perfect. They look better if they're not. But yeah, you guys can see like this is why, I don't know if you hear so this is why I recommended making the first clear layer a little bigger, because you end up cutting off so much of the clear layer. And the clear layer is what gives it that like iridescent look. I don't know. So just make sure you're pouring a bigger clear layer. So I'm just I'm gonna leave the camera like this so you guys can see how I'm cutting them. But just play around with it a little bit. And just make some like odd shapes here and there. Don't want them to get too crazy. So the gradient comes from doing layers like this. So they're poured, so this is the bottom of the bar, the clear layer. So you do the clear first, you add some dye, and then you pour another layer, let that harden, and then add some more dye to the final layer. And it gives you that gradient effect. And you definitely only, just use one color per soap. Otherwise the colors are gonna bleed together, and I don't know, depending on the color combination, it may not look very pretty. But it's just the layering, and you don't have to be too patient because they do dry pretty quickly, or rather cool pretty quickly. Yes, I know that the purple one, that I got inspired by a nice amethyst little cluster I have. So I wanted to make one like that. Okay, so I need a few more of these blue guys. So definitely feel free to ask any questions as I'm going through this. If I don't get to your question, I'm sorry, and I'll try to get to them all. But if I don't, feel free to DM me later, or chat with our customer support team, and we will help you out. What is my favorite soy wax? I love 464. It's a great wax. It's the most popular soy wax out there. Thousands and thousands of users, and I'm one of them. I mean, that's what I started with. I love it. Works great for me. I love the way it looks. I like that creamy top. So yeah, just be careful when you're doing this too. Don't cut yourself. And they're definitely a little easier, and they have a wider base, but they look better if you cut the base a little bit down here and there. Okay, so that should be enough for one of these guys. If I had to only pick one wax to work with for candles, which one would I stick to? Again, 464, like, you know, I do get the opportunity to work with other waxes at work, of course. And, you know, there's some great waxes out there, but I don't know, when I'm making candles, I just like 464. You know, it's easy for me to work with and treats me well, and I love the candles, how the candles come out. So that's what I do. Nice online making an order for 464. Yep. I mean, it you know, it's the most popular soy wax for a reason, for sure. We sell tons and tons of it. Okay, so, you know, I'm gonna have to do one more little melting in the microwave with this guy. So bear with me. 10 seconds. And I am gonna have to adjust my camera again, I guess. All right. Okay. So got my circle mold here. This is a really nice mold. Sometimes I'll just make like plain soaps in it. I really love the triple butter base or the shea butter base for that. I don't know, the circles just look really elegant, I think. Okay, now we're in business, guys. Okay, so now this is maybe the hardest part of the whole thing. I'm just gonna pour a very thin layer. When I was first playing around with this project, I poured this base layer way too thick, and the final result was just not very pretty. So I really recommend doing a pretty thin layer. And so then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna place your little mini crystals. And you don't really have to worry about letting this one harden or anything. It's better if it's still liquid. You're just gonna place them in there. Oops. And just kind of do it like a little haphazardly. Oh, and I forgot to say this before. Those little shavings that you shaved off when you're making the crystals, don't get rid of them. Because you might want to like throw some of those in there as well to bulk it up or give it like a little more height too. So save those, don't get rid of them. And so can you guys see what I'm doing? Yeah. All right, so just place them in there. I like to have some kind of like angled, but it takes a little bit of playing around with it to see what you think looks the best. And I tried, one time I was trying it, I poured the base layer after I had already, after I'd already placed them, and that did not work. So you want to place the base layer first. Okay, and so I do need more crystals. I'm gonna cut a couple more really quick. Okay, and then the question. Yeah, the perfect temperature to add fragrance oil, 185 Fahrenheit, always, always. There are a lot of opinions about that, you know, test out what you like, but you know, we've tested it so much, the temperature thing, and that's just the best temperature to make sure. It's like a good catch-all temperature. Some fragrances you can get away with adding them cooler, but I don't know, I don't really know why you would want to. I mean, if it's a fragrance you've worked with a lot, you know you can add it cooler, you know, totally, but you just really want to make sure the fragrance binds with the wax, and it's not going to burn off, I promise. I know that's what people say, but it won't. We've measured it, it does not. It just doesn't, not at that temperature. And you know, there are some risks when you add it at a low temperature like that too. I mean, you risk like the fragrance not binding with the wax. You can get you know, fragrance seepage where the oil like is seeping out of the top of your finished candle, which is never good. I mean, that can cause problems when you're burning, because that can just catch fire, you know. But it can also just result, like, even if it's not dangerous, it can just not give you a great throw. Because if the fragrance doesn't bind with the wax, then it's not going to disperse evenly when it is burning. Okay, so one more crystal here before it hardens too much. Okay, yeah. And then I like to use some of these the little shavings like this to just add as filler. You don't have to, but it's already gotten pretty firm in there. Okay, so yeah, that is the basic process. You just want to get them, like, you know, blue on blue. Sorry if you can't see very well, but the finished result once they're dry is gonna look like that, except we did those in blue, so those will be blue. Okay, question, if you only have one wick, which would it be? So that's just really gonna depend on the wax you're using. So make sure you take a look at the wick guide on our website. I really like the CD series, but that, you know, I work with 464 soy wax, which is a good wick for soy. If you're using a different wax, it's gonna, you know, vary. So it really just takes, and what works for me and what I like is not necessarily gonna be what works for you and what you like. So it, you know, it just takes some testing. Okay, yeah, so that is pretty much the process to get these guys. So today I was playing around with doing a clear. Oh, I don't know if you can hear my cat, but my cat wants my attention, I guess. What? I really wanted to get a quartz look. And so I don't know, I wasn't sure it was gonna work, but it did. So instead of adding dye and for the subsequent layers, I added a tiny bit of the triple butter base. So it got a little bit more, you know, milky, but was still clear. I don't know if you guys can tell, yeah. So maybe you can see, like, the top is the clear, the middle has a little bit of the triple butter, and the bottom has more of the triple butter. And so I was pretty happy with how that came out. I was pretty pleased with myself, I gotta say. So I really like the quartz one, so I'm gonna make some more of these guys, and I'll show you later once they're dry. Yeah, for 464, I really like the CD series. That, you know, that's what I like. Yes, thank you. There, yeah, the wick guide on the website goes based on your wax and the diameter of your container. The wick size you're going to use is also going to depend on the fragrance load. If you are using a higher fragrance load, you might need to wick up. You might need to wick down. Just do some tests and just take a lot of notes. And make sure you label your testers. Yeah, well, I think that's it for all these, for the soaps. Once I'm able to take this one out of the mold, and I'll make some more too, I will just do another little story probably so you guys can see. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, these are fun to make. They're great for making with kids, but, you know, I just have cats, so I've been having fun making them here myself. And I am super stocked up on soap. Yes, the live will be saved so you can view it later. But all right, guys, well, again, I am Cassie, and thank you so much for joining me to make these soaps today. And you will be able to watch this later as well. So yeah, thanks for coming, and thanks for making gemstone soaps with me. All right, guys, we'll catch you later.